My daughter and her family visited us Easter week. They had an early morning flight for their return, so we went to Phoenix the day before and spent the afternoon at the Musical Instrument Museum in North Scottsdale. If you haven't been there, it's worth the time. I've been told about it by a friend here in Sedona, and it was a totally enjoyable afternoon, especially for the two girls, 7 and 8, one of whom is taking piano lessons. I felt this was quite a unique museum to display the musical instruments of the world. They also had a hands-on room where the girls could go in and fool around with a bunch of different instruments, and it was they had a really great time. I also noticed a display on the wall when we were getting ready to leave, honoring the donors who built this museum. The largest donor, and it perhaps was his idea, was also chairman of the museum board. Many famous musicians had donated significant sums of money and some of their own instruments. Corporations participated in a big way also. It also caught my eye that Tiger Woods had given $25,000 to the cause. We saw the same thing happen in Charlotte, North Carolina just before I retired. A new museum of craft and design took over an old empty building in the center of Uptown. Charlotte also referred to their downtown as Uptown. The funding came from individuals and corporations who were interested in creating something new and different. Our company was one of the patrons, and therefore we were present at the grand opening, and we still display the commemorative plate that was given out that night. I believe we as a city should support the artists and performers and help ease the way to allow them to do their things. We've talked about maybe being a little more business friendly. I think we have to be as friendly as we can in some of these areas. My first experience with street performance was San Francisco many, many years ago. And as we've traveled around in the tourist areas in most big cities, you see street performers going on. And I think I would enjoy seeing them have a place here. My point is that when something great is created, it usually comes from a person or group who has the passion to drive it forward to completion. That usually is not government. I can support incentives if I can understand what the return is, and it doesn't always have to be monetary. But I think in a lot of cases where you have all these nice places, there's been individuals who had the passion to do that and went around and raised the money. Thank you.
I look at the arts as an integral part of Sedona. It's a part of Sedona, or culture, and I cannot begin to imagine Sedona without them. As I said before, Sedona has a unique range of artistic talent that covers many areas. I will address the long-term viability, but first let me cover the current situation. The first thing you see when you get to Sedona is the beauty created in topography, natural art. The colors on the rocks, the incredible views have caused visitors to tell me it'll look like an oil painting. It's often reflected as well in the art of Sedona. When they look a little further around and they see everywhere art in Sedona. It's on the highways, it's in the parks, it's in uptown, on the sidewalks, and people can literally create their own music by hitting the xylophones as they walk about. I myself pass in front of the Cowboy Club and spin the dancing figures and art comes to life. I pass by the statue of Joe Beeler and I wonder when he'll finally finish his picture. Recently, the art of storytelling and Western music was celebrated at the National Day of the Cowboy event. Art is in the fabric of our city. We also enjoy many talented musicians and many restaurants and many small venues. In fact, art is also an economic boon to Sedona. When the art is sold, sales taxes are collected that support all of us. The many galleries, while focused on art, are also focused on selling the art. These establishments are not museums, but businesses that depend upon tourists and web surfers and salespeople to sell all art at large. This contributes to the diversity of tourism often talked about and the attractivity that protects us in the event of an economic downturn when the weather, such as a rare rainy day, occurs, or when conditions, such as a fire, prevent hiking. The galleries provide an indoor escape that keeps people entertained. And speaking of entertainment, we have many events like the Sedona Film Festival and showings at the Sedona Art Center, as well as classes where people learn how to paint or create in other media such as ceramics, paper, and more. Outdoor music events such as Jazz on the Rocks, Bluegrass Festival, indoor events live or streamed such as chamber music, 50s reviews are quite diverse. The city is now considering increasing performer access to streets and parks that could contribute to the experience for all parties to enjoy. I will continue to support the arts. I have to say at this time, what kind of incentives would apply, I have no idea. What tax breaks? I have questions of my own. I say that because my main mission on council would be to be fair to all requests. In addition to those requests to support the arts, would also be those residents for basic services and for other businesses asking for different support. All compete for the same dollars. I do believe all are worthy of consideration.
30 seconds.
but specifics would be impossible to know today, as requests always vary and the funds available are ever shifting. I do believe some type of support for all of them makes sense. We need to pull together in ways that support the arts with the business people and the residents. So an example might be go to one of our businesses, like Biddle, and set up different art venues, little music played here, art being done here, some kind of a storytelling being done for an evening event that you could go out and charge people for an experience that people would enjoy coming to Sedona for. Thank you.
Sedona is art, a living culture. Economically, Sedona as a centre of the arts is one of the main reasons, next to natural beauty and outdoor recreation, why visitors come here. Since visitation is currently our major economic driver, then art becomes a crucial part of our economic sustainability and long-term viability. Both business people and residents understand that the arts are crucial to our healthy business environment. In terms of education, art plays a huge part in the development of our youth. I would like to see the K-12 curriculum infused with all art disciplines. Art develops the imagination and creative skills of our children. I'd like to see the arts a central part of the revitalisation and resurrection of Yavapai College, our currently defunct community college. Education in the arts, both in the schools and in our college, can reinvigorate the arts community of Sedona and make a solid contribution to the educational development to our children, youth and adults. Entertainment is also vital to Sedona's long-term viability. Community was the key word spoken by hundreds and hundreds of people who contributed to the writing of our new community plan. The arts, especially the performing arts, are central to developing our sense of community. Yes, we should encourage music in our streets and parks to a limited extent and have performances. I look to Barbara's Park as a place where this can happen, as well as the many other future pearls which are part of the vision of the community plan. Let's review our performing art theatre and see how possibly we can manage it better. We need to ensure that arts are a big part of the eventual development of the cultural park, then why call it cultural, which could be a huge part in our city's future entertainment. We also need to cultivate the theatre and encourage theatrical groups to develop here and have functional theatres where they can perform. If we develop a vibrant arts community, we will automatically attract artists from outside, so we don't need to spend money on enticing them to come here. But we should support our existing artists and continue giving grants to organisations which are responsible for supporting art in our city. Tax breaks and other incentives such as reduced fees to emerging artists would help make it easier for them to become established and make a living. I would like the city to make Sedona more arts friendly and less restrictive. Make it easier, not harder, for artists to exhibit their work here, for artists to perform in our streets and parks. This is all part of a Sedona, which is a city animated by the arts.
The arts and artistic expression are an inseparable part of Sedona's identity. We have a rich history of renowned artists who have lived and worked here. We are known for the many westerns that were filmed here, and the tradition continues strong with an international film festival, a plein air festival, and many other events during the year that benefit residents and attract tourists. Not to mention the hundreds of professional and amateur artists who live and work among us today, many of whom share their talents and expertise in classes open to all. One of the 6 vision themes in our new community plan is called Community Connections, and it states, quote, "We meet at events and at random to share experiences, help others, improve our community, enjoy the arts, and celebrate our heritage," end quote. Another vision theme is called Sense of Place, and it reads as follows, quote, "We appreciate and respect our unique surroundings that reflect the natural beauty, arts, culture, heritage, and opportunities for physical and spiritual renewal," end quote. So arts and culture are right there in the core vision we share for how we interact with each other and our place on this earth. Yes, I think it's clear that the arts are vital to our existence. I definitely believe also that city government has a role to play in ensuring that this core part of our lives remains healthy and vibrant. Our current budget has over $200,000 in support of the arts in various ways. By comparison, Flagstaff spends less than half as much as Sedona on a per capita basis through an art and science fund grant program. Cottonwood's current budget contains only $20,000 of support for one arts organization. By contrast, Santa Fe, with a population of 80,000, but clearly being marketed as an arts destination for tourists, is spending $750,000 on the arts, which puts them well below Sedona, again on a per capita basis. Now, until I can spend a lot more time analyzing every part of the city budget, I wouldn't be comfortable saying if the portion we dedicate to the arts is appropriate. But comparisons don't tell the whole story. Regardless of percentages, we need to be sure that established as well as burgeoning arts and culture organizations that need help from time to time are supported by the city. The goal of all such organizations should be continuous self-sufficiency through sound management. But not-for-profit organizations are particularly vulnerable to economic conditions outside their control, and good ideas often need a boost to get started. We have the means to provide that support, and doing so is in perfect alignment with the vision for our future that is articulated in our community plan, so it has my support. Thank you.